Hello.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Um, Let me close your screen so it doesn't echo. All right. Okay. So to answer your question, right now I'm Emerald 4, but
Okay,
I peaked
okay.
Master before the season, but right now I haven't had the motivation to climb really.
Okay, I'm gonna say Peak Master in my title then.
Okay.
So we already had a few coachings. I don't know if one
Yep.
or multiples already.
hmm
Can you send me your PGG again because I don't have
Okay.
I think you
One
changed
second.
your username. But other word other than that maybe what do you want to do? Do you want to play a live game and I review it on stream, or do you want us to go through VODs?
Yeah, pretty much like the last time we can do a live game
Okay, okay, let's do this then. Now I have an NA account, so I should be able to
to see it as well.
yeah
Okay.
to see the replay afterwards.
Mhm. So you're gonna see on my OPGD there's a lot of losses. Just don't mind those. I've been trying to learn different play styles, but for this coaching session, I'll play the play style that I know.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, you can already start the queue, I guess. Uh what do you have to say since last time? What do you think you improved on? Like which point we mentioned? Why do you struggle with? If I
So
remember.
last time, I'm not gonna lie, it was easier to climb because I could see people's names, so it was easier for me to dodge bad players.
Okay.
But recently, I've had to learn how to play without dodging, so that's kind of been harder. But I still reach master with that as well. I I guess what I learned is how to prioritize farming more and ganking in between. Because before I was just doing whatever.
Okay, it's crazy because our last coaching session is was in March 2022, so it's been a very long time. Now
Yep.
I can ensure that my coaching skills have improved. I will
Uh,
probably tell you a bit more because I've been able to, uh, coach probably dozens of people, maybe 50 people since last year. So I have,
hey, that's good news for me. That means I'm
yeah,
ranking
I
too
have
high.
better understanding.
Yeah.
Whenever you
All
get
right.
in
So
champ select, you can share your screen.
yeah, I kind of have bad news. Uh, don't judge me for this, but my main account just got perma banned today, so I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to
Oh no.
improvise. I'm gonna have to improvise. See, that's another thing I need to work on. I need to not tilt
Yeah,
as
yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And like to be honest, if you're a Zac OTP, this is
Uh,
especially true because you're playing a
yep.
jungler and you're playing a jungler that is weak early game. So you're probably out of all champions in the game, you're probably the one
Uh,
that is going to be flamed the most because you're going to be a
yeah.
passive early game jungler.
Yeah.
Also, you build Magi every game. I would really advise against it.
Hey,
I
let me
think.
turn your volume up a little. I can't hear you that much.
Oh, and can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, yeah, it's just my mic that was too far
All
from
right.
my mouth. But yeah, for example, um, I wouldn't build Magi in a game where you think you can die, really.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you're playing against Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser probably 1v1s you at some point, especially if he's fed. Okay, he was 4 and 13. Like,
Yep.
yeah, basically the timings where I build Magi is either we are too ahead as a team, and any team can't kill me. So I have like passive. I think the game is going to end within 10 minutes.
Uh,
Or if I die, the game is over anyway. So like I have to build Magi because I know that if I ever die, the game is so close from being lost that if I die, it's over anyway. So I don't care to lose Magi stacks. Also, I build it when I know it's not going to prevent myself from getting power spikes earlier. So you should not buy a Magi instead of an item, for example. If you have Gargoyle,
mm,
the choice between getting a Gargoyle or getting a Magi, you get your Gargoyle. That's why I usually build it very late in the game. at least after my third item, and that has to be when I know I'm not going to lose the stacks.
So what I usually do, from because I've also been trying to learn from watching your streams, I try to emulate what you do. Let's say this is me starting on red side right here.
Mm-hmm.
What I usually do is I full clear this, like the usual.
Yeah.
Get scuttle. If I can get this scuttle, it depends on my team's prio. If not, I can try to get this scuttle at least. And then after that, I recall to not waste time. If I'm over here, I'm just gonna walk here. I'm not gonna recall if
Okay.
it's about to spawn. And
What
then
is
I
your
just
clear
finish.
speed, by the way?
I don't really count it, but I finish about when the scuttle spawns.
Okay, because ideally you really want to be on scuttle on spawn with a smite up.
Okay.
So this is
Yeah.
not the best speed ever. Like you have a few seconds of leeway. Um, so if you have a perfect optimal clear, you have to wait the scuttle for like 5 6 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Double
Uh,
camp thing, but now it's a bit harder.
like the advantage of having a good clear speed is that if you know you can't get the bot side scuttle, for example, you can start going towards top lane earlier, and
Yeah.
that means you will almost have the guarantee to get one scuttle.
And you get a faster tempo overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But where it gets confusing for me is the second clear. So from what I gather, you usually second clear and see if you can get dragon, and then sometimes I see you do a half clear and herald, but lately I've seen you just continue to do a full clear. So that's why I'm kind of confused.
Um. You for the second clear, Herald is not up. That's for the third clear.
Well, yeah, the third clear.
So usually second clear, what you do
Mhm.
is either you backed really early and you have time to gank top. So that's your weak
Uh-huh.
side usually before
Uh-huh.
Krugs. That's really
Okay.
rare and it probably doesn't happen much in your games.
Yeah.
Um, if not, you just get Krugs Raptors, and after Raptors, you have two choices. Either there's an opportunistic gank mid that doesn't cost you a lot of time, that should be free kill, and then you
Mhm.
go for it. Or if not, you just continue your clear, and after your full clear, your second clear, you have 1 minute to do something on the map. So warding, um, getting scuttle if you can, uh,
Uh-huh.
counter ganking, ganking, anything. You have 1 minute, and then for your third clear, this is where you get your level 6. So you really want to get to your third clear as early as possible. You don't want to wait too much. You have 1 minute between your second and third clear, so it should be enough to do whatever you want. But try to be on your third clear on spawn. So you get your level 6 early, and then you can decide either you get Rift if you think that you have uh, like if you have top prio, for example, it can be a good idea because with level 6 you're winning the fights. So you're getting Herald. You can fight Herald easily. Or else
And
you just
also
continue clearing, yeah.
another thing about when I usually get the objective is it seems like when I do it, I lose my tempo against enemy jungler. Like, it seems like he catches up in XP.
Okay.
But all right, let me
Um,
try to focus.
yeah, well, that's the problem of getting Herald instead of your third clear against farming
Uh-huh.
junglers. This is where they are going to full clear. Meanwhile, you're getting Herald, so you're a bit slow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna
So
mute during the game, and we'll review it afterwards. Good luck.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so we're in. Et merci d'Open pour le raid. On est en plein coaching là. J'avais pas vu ton raid, désolé. Tu me voles mes LP, j'aurais 1000 sinon. Aïe 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 aïe. C'est vraiment gentil du coup. C'est vraiment gentil. En tout cas, je te souhaite une bonne nuit si tu dois partir. Ouais, c'est bizarre, j'ai pas entendu le son du raid. Okay, I couldn't really focus on his clear, but so far nothing seems too bad. Is he using? Yeah, he's spamming W, so Ah, no, he's not spamming it here. Not spamming W is usually the first mistake where you lose so much time if you don't do it. Bon, désolé, je vais continuer en anglais parce que il va regarder la VOD et si je commence à parler français, c'est chaud. Um, I mean, he should finish this clear within 330, right? I didn't see any major mistake. Depends whether or not he does the double camp strat. To do the double camp strat, you want to start kiting the grump when it has 500 HP, like this. One more auto, and then you can double camp. Uh, yeah, it's not really optimal. But whatever, it should be fast enough, right? It's maybe tiny bit too slow. Yeah, here his main time loss is not spamming W, I think. Probably loses him like 3-4 seconds. It makes a huge difference. If you're waiting 0.5 more second for each W, it's an insane difference over the course of the clear since you're using more than 40 W. Okay, now he has like 30 seconds to do something, so that's opportunistic gank. Really good. Okay, nice. Q, and she should die. Perfect. And now, I don't think I can kill this guy. Okay, he has to flash. They're just gonna crush this wave, and that's a really good first back. He's gonna get Bammies plus Darksteel. Perfect. Also, it's really weird. He doesn't have the gold displayed. The Darksteel Bammies. Perfect. And yeah, usually I like to get yellow trinket. I like to get yellow trinket level 1 because it allows you to... Here he doesn't want to gank top, he really wants to clear because he's going to be really late if he doesn't. He's already super late, which was worth it by the way. It was a good opportunity. This is where you don't back immediately. He should smite the Krugs. But I don't think I'm gonna mention it. It's very minor. Yeah, having yellow trinkets level 1, I mean after your first clear, allows you to ward and prevent enemy jungler from killing your laners, even if you don't have an immediate opportunity. That's really good. Hello, tryhard Ellie. Right now I'm like 460 LP. Ideally, he wants to get Grom first. Yeah, he's not spamming W at the right time. Like, you really need to spam your W key when the CD is below 1 second, or like below 0.5 seconds. So it's going to buffer and it's going to be used exactly on spawn. Exactly when the CD comes back. This is a bad gank. Like, he knows he can't hit his E. If there is backup here, they are all screwed. They are okay. Maybe they saw Warwick was top lane. I don't know if they saw it. I don't know if we had the info that he was top. But if we didn't have the Warwick info here, it was you can't gank like this with no info on enemy jungler. I guess we knew kinda that Warwick started bot, so even if we didn't have info on the minimap, it's normal to assume that he's top lane. I'm just gonna mention it. Like, to do this gank, you need to be sure that Warwick is top lane. And also, you can have better setup. You need to wait that they fight instead of Eing where he did. You can try to go from the bot tri bush, and that would be a better gank. other than that, it's fine. The Drake is free. Now he's level 6. He wants to fight. So here I think they have top prio. I think he gets a couple games and then he starts Herald. I would start Krugs, to be honest. Like, okay, we see Warwick bot, so here I would go Rift immediately after the red. He can smite the red, he will get his might back when the Rift is low HP. Okay, nice, he does it as well. And he, yeah, you just, oh, you don't need to ping this. That's really a waste of a pink. You don't want to pink like that. I'm going to show him the pink spots, but you always want to pink deep. You're the jungler, so it's over your whole team. You're the one that has the easiest time getting a deep ward. They don't want to have your ward stuck here. Okay. Also, maybe I will give him micro tricks to get behind Herald. You need to use target champion only. Here he really needs to farm. Or if he has a gank, he uses R. I wouldn't get Krugs here because they are just not in they are just not on your path here because you want to be bot lane. So like if you get Krugs, you're just going to be late. Like you have your whole blue side anyway. You don't have you will not be able to get a full clear at this timing. Never. And here, yeah, they can fight. They win this. Unfortunately, that was not a really good E. They can fight, but they need to move. Now I'm not even sure they win this. Yeah, they just like they can fight this, but they need to be patient. Zac needs to wait his teammates, and his teammates need to move. So here, you don't want to use your spells. That's really important. You don't want to use your spells when your allies are still moving, because your spells are good when they are combined with your allies' spells. So the problem here is that if you start to use all your spells, well, you apply your damage, okay, but the CC is not going to be valuable, because your teammates are not here to apply damage on top of it. Also, he should never go top here, he has a whole bot side to clear. And the thing is, they don't want to fight this, I'm pretty sure. And Renekton has R, but okay, it works. So yeah, when you're in this situation where you're waiting for your allies, you want to bait the enemy without using your important spells. So you don't want to use QER. You want to wait your allies and only start to use your spells when your mates are in position to follow. So like here the problem is that the past minute he is in a situation where he has RCD for 60 seconds. So this is the perfect timing to farm your jungle. So the past minute he should have just farmed his whole jungle, and now he would be in a situation where he's back on the map, he has his camps farmed, and he has R up. The problem is here, he's going to have to farm his jungle because it's up since 1 billion years, and his R is up. So ideally you want to change this mindset. You want to farm when your R is down, so these camps would be down if he farmed the last 2 minutes. And you want to gank when your R is up. Like, see how now he wants to gank or like do something. Like, he wants to do this because his R is up. So the problem is if you don't farm when your R is down, then you are never going to farm. And this is how you get 4 CS per minute. So they are not winning this because they don't have mid prio and they don't have bot prio. So that was a bad call overall, bad macro call. Like they want to fight, but they don't want to fight with a numerical disadvantage. So here are a couple mistakes. First, not farming when your R is in city. Second, farming when your R is up. Third, going Drake without mid bot prio. Also not leashing the Drake. And trying to fight when you have to run when they come. Also now again, his R is down, so he really wants to farm during the next minute or like do something that's riskless. So if he knows that any jungler is bot lane, then he can get the top side. But here he doesn't want to go for equal moves. Like he doesn't want to go for 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. He doesn't want to contest objectives. Ideally, here in this situation, also your team is behind. You want to farm. Here he needs to keep farming. He needs to get his topside games. Because if he runs bot like this, is he even going to be useful in that fight? He has no ult. I'm pretty sure this is going to end bad for their team. Or on average, these kinds of fights are going to end poorly. And here it's actually a 5v4 because set is top. Like, look at what Zach has been doing for the last minute. Here the problem is like his gameplay is like team centered too much. Like you don't want to go for a bot side move when you're in top lane river at this stage of the game. It's 14 minutes. You don't have ult. If there is something happening in your blue buff, you don't go through half of the map to try and help them because the move is probably already over by the time you get there. And also you don't have R, so you're not as useful. Oh, that's an extra hit. And yeah, overall in this game, his jungle is almost perma up. What's this guy current rank? Oh, never mind. It's Emerald 3, I think. Maybe I should update the stream title because, like, okay, he picks Master, but everyone in the game is going to have Emerald level. Okay, now same thing. He has no ult. He doesn't want to contest stuff. If he has ult in these situations, he's so much more useful. His team won locally because it was a 5v4 again and Kaisa is randomly splitting. But the thing is, he has no idea about this. Like, he's trying to contest. Um, like, his team is trying to contest on a timing where they don't want to. Result is, this is not even worth it. Kaisa, I don't know if he got the bot lane third. Yeah, Kaisa got T1 and T2. And his full jungle is up since like 10 minutes. At least they win the fight, so it's not the end of the world for him. The problem here is really the risk-reward ratio. It's not the result in this particular game. It's just that overall, he has a different spirit than he should have. Like if you want to fight all the time like this, on average, you're going to lose resources. Now his R is up, so it's normal that he doesn't want to farm his bot side, because here he's really useful. Like here they can easily win fights even if something unexpected happens, just because he has ultimate. It's crazy how this game they're fighting all the time, man. I don't think I've seen a single moment where they don't fight. It's really like fight, die slash back, buy item, fight again. Now you're in this situation where you kill the enemy team, he has no ult, he has 2k gold. Here you want to get Drake and base. I don't think you want to get your bot side before basing. I think you want to get Drake base and then farm your bot side. And Drake should be free, right? Oh ho. It's not, and they shouldn't fight this. They're gonna lose this fight. I'm pretty sure, because they haven't backed. Unless they are just too defending. Bro, like, why does the enemy team try to contest the Drake and they're like two? I thought they would all be coming here. I haven't wrote a single thing since 12 minutes 40 seconds. There's not much to say. Here, you don't want to start Nash. Your ADC is bot lane. What you want to do is fight because you have the advantage. Win the fight. You don't want your ADC to split. And after you win the fight, then you get Nash. Here the problem is enemy team can contest this. Even if it's a 4v4, it's not in their advantage. I don't know what is the... if Caitlyn is fed here in this game. I don't know if she's a factor. Like, if Caitlyn is somewhat useful, their whole team is just losing time here. And the mid wave is not pushed. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm writing. If you want to get Nash at this stage of the game, you push the mid lane. If enemy team contests the mid lane, then it's a free fight for you. I'm not sure that's a good fight because Caitlyn is too far away. They're gonna win it even without Caitlyn. I think overall all the tips I will give him, the one that will help him the most is micro, because like there's a fight every 30 seconds. So if he, one of the micro tips I had is you don't want to use your spells if you're waiting for your team to arrive. Like this is going to save him so much fights. You only want to use your spells if you have follow-up. Bonsoir, Isogusto. Okay, here he has R, so he could have jumped, I think. I think he could have jumped. He has R and flash. Yeah, he has to jump on this. Okay, that's a bit unfortunate. You want to Q the target. I mean, here, yeah, not much to do to say, I guess. It happens to me as well, so will I, like, who am I to say anything about this? Okay, and the flash was funny. Here, when you have Nash, you really want to play on lanes. You don't want to fight in the jungle. Because if you fight on lanes, in the meantime, you will also push waves, um, poke the turrets, and if you ever win a fight, the wave is already here, so you push way further. Okay, diving here, that's a 5v4, but he has no ult. It could work, but it's... The thing is, there was no rush. He could have waited his ult. He could have waited more waves because his team still has Nash for a pretty long time still. So there was no rush to dive right here, right? If they just wait the next ultimate, see, they still have Nash, so they could have just waited the next ultimate, keep pushing the waves, and eventually you get the turrets without having to risk this. Now he loses his Darkseal stacks. He's not too. He's not going to be as potent. So like here, it's also something that's probably going to help him a lot. It's like you need to identify the situations where if you wait, your team is gaining. So for example, if you're in this situation where you're trying to get an objective, your team is 5 and any team is 4, and they have a split pusher that's pushing. The longer you wait, the longer you tempo the engage on Drake, the worst it's going to be for your team because the split pusher is going to get your turrets. But in this situation where if he waits 30 more seconds, he's going to have ult, and eventually they will get the tower by small increment. With each wave, they are going to pressure the tower. The longer they wait, uh, the more benefits his team gets. Like if he engages 30 seconds later, it's going to be better. Like same thing, if you have an ally that comes from base and nothing else is happening, well, if you wait 30 seconds, you will have a better setup because your ally will be here. Here, he should really base. He should have based. He should have synchronized his base with a teammate to buy something. So like, it's really important in late game when you have to buy an item to synchronize your base with an ally. Because if you don't, your whole team is going to back at different times, and you will not be in the situation where you can do something on the map because there will always be somebody in your team that is in base. So here his ADC is spawning in 15 seconds. So unless there are like things to do meanwhile, he should base and sync his base with ADC. Here his Rakan is basing. ADC is spawning in 5 seconds, so he needs to base. Like this is trolling. Even if they kill him, this is trolling. Because they could have synced the base with Rakan and Kate. And now Kate is going to have to wait for years. Somehow they can 2v5, right? 3v5, sorry. Right, this is not the good spirit. You're not always going to be able to 3v5. And here, if enemy team kills you, if Kaisa get the 1k shut down, you just delay the game for 5 more minutes. And who knows what can happen. Your ADC might have dinner. In this game, ADC, his ADC is not really a factor yet. He doesn't have his third item yet. Also, Rakan is AFK. Rakan has some pizza to buy. Yeah, it should be end angle here. They have the wave. GG. Okay. Just need a bit more patience. Yeah. Okay, GG.
Damn, that was probably the worst game I've ever played in my life.
Bro, that's that E into Q miss. That one was funny.
That was terrible. But I mean, I can still learn a few things from that match. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been playing League recently, as you can tell, so I'm kind of rusty. But
Yeah, it's fine.
it
It's
is what
fine
it
to be
is.
honest. We don't care about
My win
those.
condition was just hover Renekton, and it was pretty much a free win
Yeah, these are not the ones that I'm going to
to review.
review. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
mostly going to focus on the macro and the micro, but not not the aim itself. Rather,
Just the
for
thought
example,
behind it.
play around your teammates. Micro awareness. That's not really the
Okay.
same. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get your replay. Wait.
Oh, let me paste it. Yeah. Oh, you got it.
Oh yeah, my bad.
It's not this account though, because that one is the one that just got permabanned.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
Let me get the username. I don't think I remember. RRT. Okay. It should be this.
Okay, okay. Okay, nice. So first, there's something I changed during my early game.
Uh-huh.
Now I like to go for yellow trinket for my first clear. And the reason why is that at the end of my first clear, usually you have like 30 seconds to do something, and oftentimes you don't have a gank setup. Oftentimes, the lanes are pushed, enemy team crashed the waves, they need to back, or your team crashed and you don't want to dive or something. Or enemy jungler is here and you don't want to 3v3 or like your anything. Um, in this case, you will have 30 seconds and if you have a trinket, you can ward here, for example. It's really good if you have yellow trinket. So after the scuttle, you go, if you don't want to go for a double scuttle, you ward here.
Okay.
Or if you want to, you can also E, um, be on the wall and ward the Krogs. Or if you're on the other side of the map, you can ward the river here in this pixel bush. You can ward here. Ideally, you want to ward here or here if you can. It's a bit far away, so you're going to have to sacrifice some time for this. And yeah, you will have two trinkets if you don't use any trinkets level 1. That's why I really like yellow trinket, and then I buy red trinket after my first back. Yeah. Other than
So
that, yeah.
I'm guessing the reason is to have vision on the jungle for your teammates.
Yeah, there are two reasons for this. The first one is I don't need red trinket early game
Um,
because I'm focusing on opportunistic ganks. So it doesn't matter whether or not the bush is warded because if I'm going for opportunistic gank, I'm
mm,
not going to wait any second in the bush. I'm just going to like if there is something to do, I just E, else I just base. So like
okay.
it doesn't like the reason why you would know you want if the bush is warded or not is if you think you're going to wait like 10-15 seconds in the bush to see if the enemy team tries to fight or something. But if you're focusing on
Mm,
opportunistic ganks, you're not really doing this anyway. So either there is an opportunity right now and it's being like you knowing that it's warded doesn't change anything,
yeah.
or there is no opportunity. In this case, you base and you knowing that it's worded doesn't change anything. And on the other hand, the yellow trinket is super useful because it allows to compensate a bit for your passiveness early game because you're able to check where enemy jungle is and your team will not die as much from enemy ganks. That's why I really like it. But it's optional. Like if you want to get red trinket, there are arguments for it as well.
Okay.
So now for the clear itself, you really want to use your W on CD. I think over the course of your clear, it costs you maybe 4 or 5 seconds because you're not doing it. But the way you do it is that you want to buffer your spell before
Mm,
the CD comes back. So when your WCD is 0.5 second CD or less than 1 second CD basically, if you start to spam your key in these areas, um, as long as there is one key press that is between 0 and 1 second CD, the spell will
mm,
automatically buffer when the CD comes back, really on the frame it comes back. So that means if you're spamming your W key when your WCD is low, there is one of the clicks that are just gonna happen to be between 0 and 1 second, and then your W will be used exactly on spawn, and you're not going to lose spawn 5 seconds on your W. The problem with this is your W is like half of your DPS, maybe a bit less than that, but like 40% of your DPS on jungle monsters. So if you start to increase the CD by like 10% every time, you're losing 5% of your DPS on jungler monsters. So over the course of a full clear, that's 2 minutes, you're losing a ton of time. You see?
okay.
So yeah, if you want, I have like um, a video of this. I think it was in my Discord that somebody sent it. Yeah, this one. Okay, 308 clear. So in this video, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, it's lagging a bit.
Yeah.
If you check the WCD, it will be perma black, perma gray. So that means, see, when it said that ability is not ready yet, that means he's currently spamming his W key. So now he's spamming it, and if you check the replay, I'm going to go frame by frame. See, it's up for only 1 frame, and then it's used immediately.
I see.
That's not because he timed his key press perfectly. That's just because one of the key presses that he did during the spam was in this 0 to 1 second cooldown window,
Uh,
and that means it's buffered automatically. And if you do this every time, you're going to increase your DPS by a whole lot. See, like how he's doing it every time.
yeah.
He's not losing a single frame with his WCD, so his DPS is way higher than yours. And the only difference between his gameplay and your gameplay is like, as you can see, he starts to spam his key like right now. The CD is like 1.5 seconds, and he's already starting to spam your W. You don't have to spam it all the time. You just have to spam it when your WCD is low. So you can feel it sort of. You don't even need to know precisely. You just feel whenever it's low, you start spamming it. And one of the clicks will happen to be in the right range. Okay. So if we compare to your WCD, you'll see that it's not always on cooldown. Like here, it was pretty good. Like here, for example, you're losing 0.3 seconds. Here, you're losing more than 1 second. And that really is going to impact your clear by a whole lot. So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. Like here, same thing. It was up for 0.5 seconds. And here 1 second. So, and if you just check the stream replay, you will see that when you're playing, there is not this text written. Like that ability is not ready yet. Right? That's really the difference between spamming it and not spamming it. That's the visual cue. How I know that you're not spamming it is because I know that there's not this text box. So yeah, and it really makes a difference. So apart from this, I think the first layer is pretty okay. Oh, maybe the Q one. Okay, no, it's fine. I don't think there's anything.
I'll practice after this and try to improve myself.
Okay, here I need to check something. Okay, so here I think you're using your auto. Okay, just in case you don't do it, the okay, you did. So you always want to apply your auto before your Q, but you're doing it here. Okay, and here if you want to double camp, the range is like below 400 health. If it's below 400 health, you just need to Q blue, Q the Grump. You need to make sure that the distance between the blue and the Grump is not too high, because if the distance is too high, they are not going to be fully bumped against each other, and it's not going to apply the splash damage. So it's not going to do as much damage. So as long as it's below 400 health, you can do the double camp streak, but you need to wait that the Grump is at least around where your champion is right now.
Okay.
So here, what I would do is just Q the blue, continue kiting, wait whenever the Grump is here, auto the Grump, I EW in the middle, and it's fine. It deals enough damage. So here you're kinda erring on the side of caution. And the same thing, you're using Q. The way you're using Q here, in many cases, like here it's barely working because it's almost out of range. Here, I think it's the max. Here's the max where both games get fully knocked up against each other. So ideally, what you want to do is to Q, not auto the Grump right away, but wait for like 1 second or something that the blue gets closer a bit and the Grump gets closer a bit as well.
Okay.
So yeah, here, after this auto, below 400 health, you click here. As long as you're in Q range, as soon as you're in Q range, sorry, you use Q. You don't auto the Grump immediately. You walk towards the blue a little bit still, and when they are close enough from each other, Q Grump EW. Okay, because here you're getting Scuttle at like 334 and 336 even. So like basically any jungler can get double Scuttle against you.
Yeah.
Because here any jungler that full clears can be in like full clears in 330. So I would guess junglers like Lilia, Kayn, Hecarim, like almost any jungler, they will get here at 330, and if you're still on blue, they just get this, smite this, and they run topside, and you get 0 scuttle.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. So if you just apply the W spam technique plus get a little bit better at double camping, I don't think it's going to be much practice. The W spam is really a state of mind, and the double camp is maybe a bit more tricky, but you will get it eventually. Okay, so that was for the clear. Now, like here, look at how you could have a yellow trinket opportunity. So I'm just saying this if you decide to switch to yellow trinkets. So here, if I want to go bot immediately, and here it looks like they're going to fight, so you probably want to go for the straight line. So here I would try to drop a ward here just to get enough vision to see if Huawei decides to gank this way. So I think here it's fine. So right before finishing the scuttle, you drop a ward here. So you don't lose time. If there is no immediate thing to go for, um, you want to ward here to get a bit of vision on the raptors. Also, something I didn't mention, but if you thought you would gank bots, ideally you really want to kite the scuttle towards bot lane. Because here you see that Lysandra just backed. She killed Kassadin and she just backed. That's what happened. So there's not going to be a mid gank available. I mean, unless I guess she could TP back and then be try to crush the wave. I guess. But here it's way more likely that there's going to be a bot gank instead, right? Because
And even
Lysandra
if she
just
does,
left. Like Lysandra is right here, so it's going to take a ton of time before she actually bays, then TP back, then walks up. So after the scuttle, you're probably going to have more chance to get a bot gank than mid gank. You always need to be aware of this when kiting a scuttle. What is your next move? When you engage the scuttle, you're like, okay, do I have more chance to gank bot or mid? If it's mid, you try to kite towards mid. If it's bots, you kite it towards bot lane. Okay?
and plus, even if she does TP back, she has prio, so it's not as dangerous for me to kite towards her. If Warwick tries to get a double cap,
Yeah, I mean, if she tries to crash a wave, that would be a good setup because you can jump from here to here.
yeah. No, I'm
So
saying if they try to close in on us, if she TPs and tries to close in on us, it's not good for me to kite towards them.
yeah,
I
but
know
you have
that.
the time anyway. Like here, the scuttle was gone anyway. Like she just left.
No, no, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that if I kite towards them, that's the second reason why it's bad.
Yeah, but that doesn't even count, to be honest, because
Oh,
here, Lysandra is 15 seconds from being able to be here. Like it's not close at all. It's not like uh, they are right here. Here, there is no danger unless they can come in 1 second. And she's not even base here. She's still backing.
yeah,
So you are really really safe here. No, that wasn't the problem. Really, the main thing is, yeah, you're right. Like if there is a danger, it's an additional reason to kite in the other direction. But whether it's to flee from a danger or go for an opportunity, you want to kite it towards the right side.
yeah.
Okay. So then you have this gank. It's good. Good to be here because here, oh, like here you're seen, but the thing is you're level 4 anyway, so you don't get to choose. You need to be in E range. Okay, so you woke up. Like here, to be honest, if I were you, I would probably go by the Tribush here.
And maybe
I don't know.
use that.
It really depends. If yeah, here in this case, I think they are going to fight there. But yeah, just to let you know, when the wave is in the middle like this, which is unless somebody kited the CS weirdly, it's always going to be in this state. The minions can see you all the way to here. So basically, you take this wall, the middle. If you're behind the middle, the minions can't see you. So just to emphasize this, right? So you really need to keep this in mind. As long as enemy champions are behind this wall,
Okay.
and whatever the CS are, wherever the CS are, you can't be seen here. Even if Kaisa is here, you can't be seen here. It's really important to know this spot because this happens all the time. That there is a wave here and enemy laners are behind this line. So this spot is really good because it allows you basically to wait and see how the situation evolves. So here, a thing you could do is jump from here to here, and then you flank them. And if you do this, Kaisa is probably going to kite towards your allies. The problem here is that this guy is going to die, so maybe you actually want to make them flee. But just it probably like I'm not saying it applies to this situation in particular. I'm just telling it to you for
for the future.
yeah, for the future situations. It's really important to know the spots. It also happens here, like here. You take this wall, you take the middle, the minions can't see you. As easy as that. Same thing for this wall. If there is a wave here, if you take the pretty much the opposite side of this, they can't see you behind this point. Same thing here. Pretty much almost all the time you take the middle of the wall and you're fine. Top lane, same thing. If you're here, the CS can't see you. As long as the champions are not behind the line. Okay. So let's keep going. Okay, so you get this. Then I think you kill this guy even. No, you throw the flash and you push the wave. So this is really good. Why? Because it's an opportunistic gank. So you finish your scuttle, you had 30 seconds anyway. Then there's an opportunity. Um, you have still like 20 seconds to do it before backing. And okay, it happened that the opportunity lasts a bit too much, so you back at 4:20 instead of 4 minutes. But this is good justification, right? Because it's a gank 3v2, so you shouldn't lose this. Um, so there's only things to gain. So it's always worth it to do this. However, um, if you decided to do this when enemy jungler was here, then it's a tragedy because not only you lose a lot of time, but also you lose the fight itself, or at least the fight itself is like 50-50. And since you're Zac early game, you're losing the 3v3 in most cases against almost any matchup. So here, if Warwick was here, both you and Rakan are dead, and on top of this, you're late. So you need to know where Warwick is um, before doing this. So I think in this game in particular, you knew because you had the ward on the Raptors, if I'm not mistaken.
And
So
I
like
knew where
you
this
you
was.
you knew that Warwick was pathing topside.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, you knew he was pathing topside. So in this case, it works. But if you thought that if you didn't have this info, you need to think twice before doing this jump. You need to play safe early game.
Yeah.
This is safe, so you go for it. Okay.
If he was here, I was probably gonna go to the mid bush and just recall from there, see if I can gank.
If he's here, you go either mid bush to gank, but most importantly,
Oh, there's
you're
second
looking
scuttle.
for the second scuttle.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so now you base. It's a late base because of this, which is fine. So here you don't want to gank top or mid because you're already very late on your camps. So you don't have time. Unless there's literally a Lissandra with very low HP in E range from your Raptor spits and it doesn't even cost you time.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't go for ganks unless it's really 100% kill, secure, zero risk taken. But yeah, like in this situation, you would never go in the river to be in this bush or something. Never.
Yeah.
Because you're already too late. You could do this if you weren't that late. Because now, if you're getting later and later, you will not have time after your second clear to do anything before your third clear spawns.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so here a lot of things to say. First, you know that the Warwick is top again,
Yeah.
because he's pathing topside the whole early game. So I understand this. Now the thing is, um, so you need to have a Warwick info to do this. Now the problem is you're level 5, so you can't do this gank setup. You don't have enough E range.
Yeah.
So what you can do is either there are like three options. Here you have the Rotor Trinket. So three options. First option, you go here and you wait that enemy team. For example, you wait that Tamkench uses W or something, or you wait that enemy team is trading in E range close to this wall. This can happen. This often happens. If it's not happening, if enemy is not trading there, you have two options left. Either you go for a short gank setup, where you go in this bush, you hope it's not warded. Uh, you have your rend trinket, so you have the info. If it's not warded, you can wait. If it's warded,
Mm.
then you have to go right away. So it has a medium chance of success because if it's warded, the enemy team might back off and might have time to escape. You have a third gank route that is uh, you go here, you start your E here, you E after the wall, and then you go this way by the tribush. You don't have your ECD just yet. You probably still have like 8 seconds CD on your E or maybe a bit more, but you will be able to gank from behind, almost guaranteed that enemy doesn't have the info on it. And as long as your mates are not dead during this sequence where you try to go around, it's going to be a super good gank opportunity, and you will get your E back to chase them after they try to flash your spells if they have flash. So that's a really good gank route as well. But yeah, the problem of going for a lane gank is that the wave is going to see you, so you have to start your E too early. It's better to go here always when you're level 5. Like here, you're already seen, I think, right? That's why, like, look at the CS. They can see all the way here. So if you start your E here, you have more range than here, right? Here, if you start from here, it's better. So you don't want to lane gank like that.
The reason that I did that uh, is because I didn't know. Usually they like to ward. Well, maybe not in this elo, but usually they like to ward the little tribush. So I was kind of feeling lazy and I didn't want
The
to
Krug
clear it.
bush?
Yeah. Well, not that bush, just in front of it that
You
supports
mean
usually
the
the
ground
ward.
bush? Like here?
Yeah, right there.
I mean,
I
if you
didn't.
think it's warded here, then that means this bush is not warded. Also, it couldn't have been warded because of the what happened bot lane the past minutes. Like, look at what happens. They are not ever. You have the vision here. They are not ever warding. Like, you should be aware of this because your whole focus this game is bot lane. So you should be aware of the last minute of bot lane. If they crush waves, then they could have wards everywhere. But if your lane is perma preventing enemy from crossing a certain line, you should have this knowledge. This knowledge. Like whenever enemy team crashes a wave, I expect this to be warded. But if they don't ever crash a wave, I think it's not warded. Like here in this case, I think nothing is warded. Yeah, nothing is warded apart from this bush. So like here, I think you should expect this, especially at this elo. You said you pick master, but I think especially in emerald, this bush will extremely rarely be warded at this timing after your second clear.
Uh,
So like in a lot of cases, just going here and Eing from here is going to get you kills.
okay.
Okay, anyway, you end up. Okay, so you lost your passive and flash, but it's fine. You get Drake because Warwick is top, and then you base. So that's okay early game. Only problem is you lost flash and passive right before getting your level 6. This is kinda a tragedy because
Okay.
the reason why your level 6 is so strong is before it decuples your opportunities. You can do whatever you want when you're level 6. You can dive any type of bot lane. You can often dive even if you don't have numerical advantage. You can dive 2v2, dive 3v3 because your ult is like CCing the enemy so they can't use spells on you. It
Uh,
applies a ton of damage and it makes you heal the turret. So if you have your passive and flash, um, it allows for even deeper dives.
okay.
Like without passive and flash, you probably can't dive 2v2, for example. But with passive and flash, you can like flash in under turrets 2v2, get the kills, and get away losing your passive.
Okay.
So ideally, it's really good to keep the passive slash flash when you have your ult.
Yeah.
You don't want to go for um, a flash in before it unless you're guaranteed that it's going to get you the kills. If you doubt it, if you are not sure that it's going to get you the kills, you don't use your flash. Of course, if you need to escape death, you use it. Okay, now you see Warwick box, you do this. Also, yeah, here I have a problem with your pink.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's wasted at my red.
it's an immense waste. As a jungler, you're the best in your team to get deep wards. Deep wards are so strong, especially deep pinks, especially at this elo, because they give you information on enemy jungler. So this pink, you would want to use it here, 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 or here. Eventually, if you don't have the time to invade deep, you don't want to lose these 5 to 10 seconds. You can wards the pixel bush. But you never, ever want to ward the pit. This is one of the worst pinks ever. The only reason you would do this is when you think there is going to be a contest on an objective
Yeah.
and you don't have red trinkets slash you have your red trinket but you think enemy team is contesting. For example, if it's a Nash, right? If it's a Nash, the enemy team is perma going to use wards all around the pit from behind. So in this case, pink makes sense because you don't want to use red trinkets because you know that enemy team will put additional wards. So this pink, you use it only during contested fights around um, Herald or Drake or Nash, which implies that there's the whole enemy team behind that is going to spam wards. So your red trinket is not enough. Or you don't have red trinkets because, for example, you have a Herald Eye and you want to get a Drake. That could happen. Or you can use a pink in the pit if you don't want to get Herald right now and you want to have the info on enemy jungler when he starts it. Let's say your top lane, you don't want to start it because you know you're going to lose the fight because you don't have top prio, let's say. You know what Warwick is bot, you know Warwick is top, sorry, but you don't have the prios, you probably don't want to start it because you're going to get collapsed. Then
Yeah.
you can ping it to get the info when enemy team starts it, and when they start it, you can maybe react and try to either you have the info so you try to gank someone because you know, oh, he can't counter gank, or you know you have the info so you invade his jungle, or you dive their bot lane because you know where we can't be here. You can go for riskier moves, or you want to contest. But you never want to use it in this setting when you have your trinket. This is a pure waste of a pink. And I'm emphasizing on this because it's a very, very, very common mistake. People do it all the time for Drakes as well. Almost all the pinks are going to go in the pits when it's the worst places for them. Especially when it's put right here. It doesn't even give the info on river. Okay, anyway. Oh, also I need to give you micro tricks for the Herald. Because I see you're struggling to get the eye every time.
Yeah.
So what I really like to do against the Herald, I don't know if you bind this hotkey where, okay, I don't think I have it here. Okay, it's here. Treat target champions only as a toggle.
Oh no, I didn't have that.
Yeah, so I would suggest to change this and to use the target champions only toggle. So let's say for myself, I use cap locks. So my keyboards tells me, you know, there is a light when my cap lock is pressed. Um, so I have the info whether I'm target champion only with my keyboard light as well. And if you have your target champion only toggle, you can click behind the herald without hitting the herald. So you can move behind it.
Yeah.
So for example, in this situation, right, you would like to click behind it because you know that the eye is about to pop. But you might misclick, click on the tail, and your champion keeps attacking the herald, right? This happens all the time. So if you just toggle target champion only, you click behind it, even if it's on the hitbox, your champion is still going to move. Then you untoggle it, and you can hit the eye. So you can practice this in the practice tool. It's a small tip, doesn't help a lot. The thing is, it's super important to use against the champions if you're not using it already. For example, if you're diving someone, you don't want to misclick on the turret, for example, when you dive. Or same thing, if you're queuing a CS and then there is a champion, but the champion is in the middle of multiple CS as well. You don't want to
Yeah.
misclick on another CS. So you want to have the target champion only toggle. Okay. Like here I see that you tried really hard to go behind, but you kept attacking it. Anyway, um, then okay, you're taking your farm. Now you got your ult back. So here, ever since you got your ultimate, you're extremely powerful. You're looking for fights, right? This is the time in the game where Zac gets super strong, and you should really play around that strength. So that means if the Herald was going to be contested, as long as you had the priors, or even if the priors are neutral, as long as you know that enemy is not going to be here first, if it's going to be a balanced team fight, um, in most of the cases, you want to look for them for these fights. Same thing, you want to look for ganks at this stage of the game. So here in this situation, you see Warwick bot, so of course you get the Herald. Then unfortunately there is no gank available. You try to go top, but he plays it safe. Okay. So you keep farming because there's not much available. Now here it could be a mid gank, to be honest. You have your ult, so you really need to look when you're doing your camps. You're not looking for a farm. You're really looking first for opportunities on the lanes, and if there is nothing, then you're farming by default. But your default mode should be looking on the lanes for opportunities. And as long as you see something, as you see something, you finish your camp quickly and you move yourself on the lane. It's fine if you don't have a perfect um, a perfect clear that's perfectly synced. It's okay if you do one camp, then gank, then do the other camp when you have your ultimate, because you're just too strong, so the gank has very, very high success chances.
Okay.
Okay, and same thing, you're looking for fights, for balanced fights. So here the thing is, your Kassadin is low HP and just back. So here, in your head, you just assume, okay, mid lane is wounded. Like, I can't really count on him. Also, Renekton is between the two towers, so you can't count on him already. So here you have to be careful because both Lissandra and Seth can be here. So you don't want to commit. You don't want to use your E in this situation. You want to keep your E to E out, because you don't want to fight. You really need to look at the minimap during these moments before contesting it. Basically, before using E, you should always look at the amount of teammates that can be with you, the amount of enemy that can be with you. Here, amount of teammate that can be with you is 0 in the next 5 seconds, and in the next 10 seconds, there could be Kassadin low HP that wants to back.
Yeah.
So, really not good.
So do you think it would have been better if I just left this and went back to farming, or do you think I should fight but save my E?
You can try to get this, but you need to keep your E. You can't use it like it. Also, there is something else I said when I was reviewing your game, is like, you don't want to use, if you're looking for a fight. So here, obviously, you can't 1v1 this guy, you know it, right?
Yeah.
That you don't have the damage to fight this guy. So the reason why you would ever fight it is if you have a teammate follow-up. Okay. So the thing is, if you're counting on teammates follow-up, you want to use your CC spells whenever your teammates are in range to apply their damage as well. Because
Yeah.
if you use everything before your teammates are here, your spells are not CC, your spells are damage. So you're basically removing half of your champion. Your all your CC is worthless when you don't have teammates around.
Yeah.
So ideally, if you are looking to fight with Kassadin, what you want to do is to keep your long CD here. QER, you want to keep them because if you use them right now, you won't have it afterwards. And you wait for your mates to be in range to apply their damage to use it all. So your mates will be safe while applying their damage. Meanwhile, during the time where the guy is CC'd. So the only thing you can do here is to use W and auto attacks. So you're probably not looking for a trade with this guy because you don't have info on the follow-up as well. So the only thing that I would look for here is to stay in the bush, maybe try to last it this thing with W auto, surprising this guy, and maybe if Seth keeps attacking the scuttle and he's about to face check my bush, the Kassadin will eventually move. Uh, you can try to auto and W the set, waiting for the Kassadin to be here to apply all your damage. This is a situation that happens all the time, where you're a little bit too early and you have to wait for your teammates to be here. You need to tempo your spells. Same thing, as Zac, it also works for the enemy. You're kinda also waiting for an enemy champion to be here, so you can apply your spell in the zone. Because not only here you're missing on the CC if you're using it without your teammate, but you're also missing on the AoE. What makes the strength of Zac in skirmishes is that you can apply all your spell and CC in AoE. So here you're a third of a champion. You miss out on the AoE part, you miss out on the CC part. If you're waiting that Warwick is here and Kassadin is here, then you can apply your damage on both Warwick and Seth when Kassadin is around to apply his AoE damage as well. So it changes everything. So also here, um, yeah, I guess you wanted to use R because you expected Kassadin to be here. But overall, when your Q and E are in CD, I mean here in this case, in this particular case, there's your R. But if your Q, E are in CD, you want to kite around a bit. You want to wait. Basically, you're waiting for your next spells because without Q and E, you're half of a champion. Unless you really want to use your R. But here in the setup, like I know I won't kill this guy with my ult. He's and same thing. If you're finding yourself in this setup, you want to wait your teammates to be here to get R, to R this guy. Alright, just here now. Imagine if instead of doing this, you waited that Seth attacks the scuttle. He would end up chasing it like that, and you would be in this situation where Warwick is coming, and you are about to apply AoE damage with CC on both of these guys. When your Kassadin will be here, and your Renekton will eventually come as well. So this completely that changes everything. Like in this setup, imagine that Seth is full HP, but you have everything. It's really good for you. Here, this is the timing. I mean, ideally, you still want to wait a little bit more that Renekton is around. But here, you could already start to apply everything because Kassadin comes in. The problem is here, Kassadin can't even R in. Where if you wait to use all your spells, Kassadin will be able to R, auto, W, Q, E, everything, and then walks away. And he will be out of range of the enemy team before your CC ends, if he times everything correctly. And also, it's not only his job to time it. It's your job to time it. You want to use your spells when your Kassadin is about to go in. And then he goes out, your CC chain is finished, you keep autoing it, etc. And when your Kassadin has his ult back, he will R again to get the last hit. And also this guy is about to come. So here also, I just want to check your CDs. Okay, here you want to wait for both your Q and E. So same thing. You want to wait for your allies to use your spells, but you also want to wait for your other spells to use your spells. Because having more spells allows you to make combos. So here, if you waited a bit more to get both Q and E, you would be able to QE or EQ, which is way better because you're able to apply AoE damage and more CC. Whereas here you E and you will die before being able to use your Q. Where if you wait 3 more seconds, you can do your combo and then maybe you lose your passive, but at least you applied more damage. Okay. So here, only thing we have to, like the only mistake here is the micro. So waiting allies, waiting enemies, using spells to get the full advantage. So you need both damage, AoE, and CC.
Yeah.
Only mistake.
So
Okay. Yeah.
this this is where the macro gets confusing for me. So right here, I went back top. Well, after this play, right here, I went back top because my thought process was everyone else is losing, so I should probably play towards top more. But I don't know. Is it better to do that, or was it better for me to continue my full
Okay.
clear?
So that shouldn't be your mindset. Here, I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you the exact mindset you should have as a Zac in mid game with RCD.
Uh,
Whenever you are enter CD, you are Zac before level 6 again, basically. So
okay.
you're looking for farm. And on top of this, you're looking for farm for, so same thing, farm, opportunistic ganks that cost not a lot of time, and um, riskless ganks. You don't want to risk
So under
anything.
tower.
Okay. On top of this, you want to plan your jungle route. So ideally, so here, where do you want to play? On which side
Uh,
of the map?
on bot side.
Yeah. So ideally, that would be really in an ideal world. During 80 seconds, what you do is backing, getting your items, getting your jungle, and whenever as soon as your city comes back, you are bot lane ready to gank. That is the ideal world. So here, unfortunately, you have 80 seconds. So like you can't like you will probably go bot, get your camps, and then you still don't have your R, but you will be bot anyway. But here, let's say let's say you had your whole jungle up, then you would be able to full clear
Uh,
and be bot lane. And now let's say same thing, you have your full jungle up, but your RCD is 30 seconds. What do you do?
30 seconds.
Yeah, or like 40
I
seconds.
I clear my bot side, then I recall and try to steal a gank opportunity.
No, no, no. I'm saying like here right now, you're in base.
Uh,
You have 40 seconds CD on your R, and your whole jungle is up.
oh, and then I go top and just full clear.
No, I wouldn't do this. I would go bot, get my bot camps, and
Uh,
then my RCD would be back. So see the difference here. If I have 80 seconds cooldown, I have the time for a full clear before my ult. If I have 40 seconds cooldown, well,
uh,
if I start top lane, I will get my R back when I'm on Raptors. So
so
I will
even
be
if my bot
far from bot
is
lane.
so even if my bot is losing, I should still gank them with my ult.
Well, that depends whether or not it's your strong side or not. Like here, we're not really thinking in terms of bot lane or top lane. We're really thinking in terms of strong side and weak sides. Doesn't matter whether you want to gank top, mid, or bot lane. You want to gank the easiest ones to gank. So if top lane is a very volatile matchup and they don't have summoners and they are low HP all the time, then this is the lane you want to gank. If you're mid lane, they both don't have flash and they don't have escapes. You want to gank mid lane. And if bot lane are like ADC with insane amount of escapes that still have their summoners, and I don't know, it's Janna Vayne against Ezreal Yumi or something, and they all have summoners. Well,
Yeah.
maybe you don't want to gank this, right? In
So like in
general,
this situation,
yeah.
uh, so like in this situation per se, since she has her ghost and flash up, do you think it would then not be a good idea to go bot?
I think it's still a good idea because you don't want to gank a set Renekton lane.
Okay.
I think here you still have a lot of opportunities bot lane. Like here, you're winning the 3v3 bot lane as long as you have a good setup. As long as you're able to land Q, ER on both Stamkinch and Kaisa,
Yeah.
don't really care about the summoners. I think, especially if they are, like that.
Okay.
And they will be usually, if they are ahead, they will often do this. Okay? Also, mid is gankable as well. But yeah, I wouldn't like to focus top because I don't know, I feel like Renekton is probably not going to have a. Like, Renekton set is not really lane. It's two bruisers that are both kind of tanky.
Um,
It doesn't really matter, I feel like. Whether, if Kaisa is 10-0 or 0-10, it really matters.
okay.
Okay, but yeah, if your ADC is 0 and 10 and you think that enemy team can 2v3 if you gank them, even if you have your ult,
Yeah.
well, maybe you can reconsider it. Um, but yeah, the main point I wanted to say is our planning. You need to plan your route to end up on the correct lane when your CD is back.
Okay.
You don't care about full clearing at this point. You really care about clearing when your R is in CD, to plan it in a way that you get your R back on the right side of the map. So same thing. Imagine there is Drake in 1 minute, and you have RCD 1 minute. What do you do?
Uh, Drake and 1 minute RCD, then I go bot side.
Well, no, I would say in this case you get your top side done because
Oh,
you will be on the bot side for the following 2 minutes, right? So during 1 minute there is no Drake, so you don't need to be bot side. But 1 minute later, you will be bot lane for some time to contest Drake to get your bot side. So you want to get your top side in CD. You want to get your top side, and then you will be bot lane around your bot camps, around the Drake, around the bot lane. When you have your R back, when the Drake is up, so when you want to be here. That's really
so
important.
I understand that, but I do have a question.
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be important to be there for like the pre-Drake fights then?
Yeah, but the thing
From
is, at this stage of the game,
uh,
you don't need to be uh, that ahead, that early.
okay.
Like, yeah, maybe I should have said 90 seconds instead of 1 minute, right? Because one
Yeah.
minute, you like come back from base and Drake will spawn when you almost finished your raptor, so maybe that's a bit too late.
Yeah.
But really the idea is, if you think that in 1 minute, 1 minute 30 seconds, you want to be bot lane, and you're on a weak timing where when your R is in city, it's the ideal timing to get your top side in city because you don't want to gank anyway. You don't have R, and you will want to be bot soon. So the problem is if you start to get your bot camps, then imagine there is no opportunity, nothing to do because for some reason the laners are not here. What will you do?
Uh,
You have the choice between waiting and getting your top side, but if you get your top side, you will get away from the action.
that,
Whether if you get your top side in CD and then your bot again, and let's say you don't want to start the Drake, but you want to be around just in case the enemy starts the Drake, because in this case you want to fight. Well, here it will be perfect because your top side is in CD. You can get your bot side games, meanwhile waiting for opportunities bot lane, waiting for the enemy to start the Drake, anything, right? But meanwhile you will be farming. It's optimization. Okay. The main thing to remember is when your R is in city, you want to farm. If there is one thing you have to remember, it's this.
Got you.
So yeah, you don't want to go. And in general, even if your R was up, you don't want to go on the side where no camps are up. Also, you just did them. So here, in no situation you would ever do this. I feel like you never do this unless any team is really ahead and they are invading your bot camps and you know you can't prevent them from doing it because they are going to kill you.
Mm,
I would say it's the exception. Otherwise, you never want to go on an empty side.
not even die. Okay, I die here.
Like here, you managed to kill the guy, but we really need to understand that the decision of going top happened way earlier. It happened here, right?
Yeah.
No, even before that. It happened here. So like, it happened way before anything. Like here, you can't know what is going to be the situation here in 1 minute. Or like in 30 seconds when you will be here. The problem is if there is nothing to, like if enemy team is not gankable, you have no alternative. You're just waiting, doing nothing, you will waste an entire minute of your life,
Yeah.
right? Like here, I have no idea how this is going to evolve in 30 seconds. The most likely I would say is this guy is going to die, and they are going to back. And what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna stand in this bush and do nothing. Also, you don't have R, so maybe here they, you know, Renekton escapes, and let's say they don't overchase. Just like Renekton escapes, okay, and here they are fine. Like here, will you want to 2v2 this? Well, I don't know, you don't have your ult. This guy is backing. I guess he has TP, so it's okay. So you kind of want to 2v2 this. But in this particular situation where you don't have your R, it's an additional factor that leans away from a 2v2 because you're not looking for risky things. You're really looking for stuff um, that is without risks. Opportunistic without risks. So here I would say, yeah, jump on this Kaisa. Because there is no risk. You cannot die if you do this. Also, it's easy. It's easy flash, easy kill. Here, I would say this 2v2, I mean, you might win it, but it's not 100%. Do you want to risk this when you don't have your R? The problem is, imagine you risk this. Okay, there are two outcomes. You win or you lose. Or you die and you, like, it's even. The problem is, okay, you did this when your R was in city, so what is going to happen next? So let's just play it. So what happened is basically you won, but you died afterwards, so it's still good, but it's pretty much even. Even plus the rift charged. So what is going to happen now? Oh, you got your R back. So here the problem is I don't have the exact CD. Okay, I think the R comes back exactly when you spawn. Okay, so the R comes back here. So the problem is you're getting your R back on a timing where look at your jungle.
Yeah.
Do you want to gank right now? I mean, yeah, sure, you have your ult, but wouldn't it be better if your whole jungle was in CD right now and you would be fresh for a gank right now? Because here, the decision you made earlier to gank when your R was in CD uh, entails the fact that now you're going to have to choose between ganking and farming. So if you gank, you're going to deny you camps. And if you get camps, you're going to deny you a good gank with R up.
Yeah.
So that means that the decision earlier, going for this fight, is not a bonus. Like it replaces good time that you could have right now. Like if you didn't do this, you would have done your jungle, and now you would have an empty jungle, and you would be really looking for great opportunities. You would have a ton of time to do it. You would not be pressed by the fact that you need to do your jungle. You would
Yeah.
probably be able to waste 30 seconds, 45 seconds looking for dives here and there, or for ganks. You know, for setups where you walk, you go from behind, get by the trebuch, maybe you take this plant to gank from here, you gank from behind like that, you E from here. In case the bush is warded, you E from here to here, who knows? Or you just walk and you gank them right here. Anything is possible, right? But the main point is by not farming when your R is up, this creates this situation that you never want to happen. And yeah, you're going to choose farming. But it would have been better if you didn't have to choose in the first place. Like here, you would be looking for E from here to here.
Mhm.
And maybe it ends up being a kill. Who knows? But here you're wasting our time. Okay. So now we have to talk about this.
Yeah, this one was troll. I'm the reason he died.
So you need to list me all the reasons why you can't get this Drake. There are like
Well,
a lot of
my
them.
mid isn't there. I don't have vision in our jungle, and my bot side is actually losing, so I don't even have Drake Prio.
Yeah, and there are even other stuff. When you have your ult up, ideally, what you want to do is not start Drake. What you want to do is catch somebody with your R because it's super easy, especially because this guy doesn't have sums. Super easy, and after the catch is done, then the enemy is not in position to contest anymore, so you get the Drake. And why is this so good? Because you gank, you get the kill, you get the crushes, etc. You get the advantage of killing a laner.
Mhm.
And on top of this, your R is in CD. So you're able to get the Drake waiting for your next ult. So this is why it's also good. Like if you have the choice between getting a Drake and then getting a kill, and getting the kill then getting the Drake, you always choose the second option, getting the kill then the Drake. So here, if you want to look for Drake, first look for ganks.
Okay.
Here, I would say the only timings where here you want to look for Drakes is if enemy team is playing very passively, they are not gankable. You know, even if I wait 30 seconds, they are still not gankable.
Mhm.
Plus, um, I know we win the fights here if a fight happens, if a contest happens. In this case, I will start the Drake not because I want to get the Drake, but because I want to force the enemy out from their very passive position to get to this fight so we can fight. But this means that we need to win the 4v4 in this case. Here, your Kassadin is not here. Your Caitlyn is looking for base, I think? No. I don't know what she's looking for, but I guess your Caitlyn can be here. But your Kassadin is not here. And your Caitlyn, yeah, is a bit behind. It's still fine because, you know, both your ADC and enemy ADC has an item. So here, you're saying, oh, my ADC is behind. It's not true. Like, he only has an additional boots.
Okay. I do have a question though.
Yeah?
Judging from, let's say Cassidon was here, judging from how they're performing, yeah, both ADCs are even. We just saw that, but judging from how they're performing as a whole, do you think it would be wise to fight there?
No. Especially
Okay.
because any champions are better than you at this stage. Look at Warwick. He's level
Yeah.
9. He's 3-1-3. He has way better stuff than you, I feel like. I mean, he only has components, but this is way better than you.
Yeah.
Look at Lissandra. She has an item. Your Cassidy doesn't have an item. Your Cassidy is going to take 1 billion year to scale. And most importantly, the vision. You need to get the vision. And as I said earlier, if you want to get the Drake out, is in the cases where you want to get the enemies out of a passive situation where you can't gank them. If you have an opportunity to gank them, because they are not playing super passive, then you need to gank before doing the Drake. So here, the enemy team is ahead, so of course they are not going to play passive. I mean, I would say in the Emerald, they are never going to play passive. So in
Mm,
99% of the case, you would always get the gank first and then the Drake. Getting the Drake first is really in situations where the enemy team knows what they are doing and they are respecting you because they know they are behind and they don't want to expose them against a Zac player. But it's
yeah.
even Master, they will not do this already. So in most situations here, you would be looking if you want to gank, like if you want to not get your blue and wolf, which and grump, which you should by the way because you're almost level 8. You should get one
Mm,
more camp. So blue buff probably. What would you would do is go in the bushes, wait for an opportunity on these guys. You have your flash. Okay, you don't have your flash. It's going to be a bit hard because Tamkench can eat this guy, so you're going to need to be smart. Ideally, you want to
mm,
CC both of them, so Kaisa can die before she's eaten by Tamkench.
okay.
But maybe you will not do this. I mean, like, really depends on what you feel. Is the Tamkench good at the game? Will he eat the Kaisa soon enough? If he does,
Yeah.
then you need to not commit with your E. And if you think he doesn't have the reaction, then you can just apply your CC before he eats her, and then your team kill her, and then maybe even if you kill the Kaisa, it's not guaranteed you can get a Drake because as I said, the real problem is Warwick and Lysandra.
Alright, yeah.
So you will
Yeah.
still need to be really careful, but then you see what happens, right? If
So
Lysandra TP stop, for example, oh, you get Drake.
so let me ask you this then. If you were in my position right after I recalled,
Yeah.
do you think it would have been better? Let's say I was in master, because in master 1,000% Warwick was gonna wait for me to gank bot. So do you think it would have been better if I just ignored the bot side for that and just went and invaded his top side while he gets the Drake?
So you mean right now at this timing
N-
when you decide to go
like
top?
right before I head bot side.
Okay. Okay, so it's after basing here.
Yeah.
Oh, after dying. Okay. So here, you say if you think Warwick is going to contest the Drake.
Uh-huh.
So what I would do if I were you is I try to use my R and come back the game like that. So
Okay.
I would
So
try
try to contest.
to jump bot lane and get kills, hoping that Warwick is not immediately right behind the wall waiting for my gank.
Yeah.
If you think he's doing this, then you come 3v3, in which case I would just farm my bot side. Because the problem is here, if you go top side again, you have this bot side problem. That's why this bot side is not a mistake you're making right now. It's a mistake from 3 minutes ago,
Yeah.
where you decided to not farm. Like this should not happen. But here you're forced with this situation. So if I had to take your keyboard, and I think Warrior is going to counter gank here, I'm forced to get my bot side. But I'm really sad with the situation because the problem is if I go top, I know they are going to invade my bot side as well,
Uh-huh.
and they are going to get Drake. So ideally, I would rather get my bot side. But the problem is I have ult and I'm farming. So that's why I really like to have cycles where I farm when R is in CD. So when my R is up, at least I don't have that much farm, and I'm not forced to get my camps in CD.
Yeah.
So since your R CD is kind of synced with camps respawn timer,
Mm,
you can make it so you get full clears when your R is in CD, or like quadrant clears or something. Then when the camps are up, your R is down again. Then when the camps are down, your R is up, and you can have this cycle like that. So you don't have to choose between two options. And here, if my bot camps were in CD, as I said, yeah, I would rush top. I would try to kill and dive sets for the Drake. It would be a really good option.
oh, okay. So basically, even if it's more likely that we're gonna lose the Drake fight, I should still, if my ult is up, I should still show it for the fight.
Um, you don't show up for the fight. You show up for catch before the fight.
Okay.
I would say,
Oh.
like here. Here, you don't want to 4v4. You hard lose with your R.
Okay.
Your R is
So
really
more quick.
useful just to get quick ganks, quick catch. Because here you
Uh,
can kill the bot lane, you can kill the set. So it's really a bet. If you bet that Warwick is going to counter gank immediately, or Temkench is good enough to eat the Kaisa properly, then you don't go bot. But the problem is you have your bot camps, so you do your bot camps. But if your bot camps are in CD as well, then you can cross map the Drake for a dive top lane.
okay.
That's really my thought process. Okay, anyway. So here you're in this situation where you started it, and of course you get punished instantly because you don't have any prio, and most importantly, you don't have any vision. So here there is an additional mistake you made. It's uh, to not leash the Drake. To not pull the Drake, sorry. If you think that the Drake is going to get contested, if you ever think that he's ever going to get contested, even if it's low chances that he gets contested,
Mm,
you need to pull the Drake. Because if you are here, you are able to see the enemy coming, you are able to E out quicker. Same thing for Rakan, same thing for all the rest of your team. And
okay.
also, it allows the Drake to reset. If you're right on the edge of the reset, the Drake is going to reset quickly, and you're not going to leash the Drake for the enemy team. So that's in any situation where you think that the enemy might contest the Drake. Only exception is if you want to sneak the Drake and like you don't want to leash the Drake because you're afraid that somebody is going to path towards the river and see you that earlier if the Drake is here.
Mm,
Okay, here what you want to do is Q the Drake from here, gets away. Also you have you have the visual cue of
yeah.
the Drake range in game, so you can precisely get it on the edge. If you're on the red team, what I like to do is to pull the Drake all the way here. It depends on your prio, but if imagine you have mid prio, imagine you're on the other team, okay? You
Mm,
have mid prio, but you don't have bot prio. What I like to do is to Q the Drake, and I leash the Drake all the way here. So the Drake is going to attack me from here. I will stand here. This means that since I have mid prio, I'm safe from this side. But oh, I don't have mid prio, but does it matter really? Worst case scenario, they get the Drake, but nobody dies.
yeah.
Same thing if I have bot prio but not mid prio, I do it on the other side. I pull the Drake all the way here. Okay, and if you're on this team, so the team you're on right now, usually you want to pull it the closest possible from your side, from this jungle entrance. So you pull the Drake here, and most of the time you pull it here. And you don't do this when you're on the other side, right?
Yeah.
You don't pull it here because it's closer to the enemy team.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, no prio, punished. No. Also, yeah, maybe you can show how different it would be if you had the info that enemy team would come. Like here, you would already see Lissandra,
Yeah.
right? So and you would be here. So here you can adapt accordingly. You don't even have to E out. You can simply run.
Walk out. Yeah.
You walk out and you're fine, right? Also,
Uh,
if you still want to contest the Drake, it allows uh, for a situation where you drop the aggro of the Drake and then enemy team gets the aggro back. So maybe you try to 50-50 the Drake and then E out. Maybe. Depends on the context.
mm,
But there are like a lot of reasons why it's better to pull the Drake. Okay. Now the next 8 minutes, I'm not going to.
yeah, because we're kind of running out of time.
Yeah, kinda. I don't know. Yeah, I think I have like 15 more minutes. But here, same thing. You have your eyes in city. What do? You do
You look for fight.
riskless, opportunistic ganks, and farming.
Mm,
So here, you don't want to risk
oh, I
anything.
see.
in this context, it's different because Warwick is bot lane, right? So that
Uh,
means that gank stop are riskless. Invading top is riskless. So you can do this. This is considered as a riskless thing to do. So you can do it because your R is in CD. But here, would you like cross the map to try and do something bot lane? Never,
yeah, no.
because you don't have your R. You never want to do this. It's not like, of course, this game you're behind, so you have to adapt yourself with this as well. But you have to understand, and even if you were even, you would not want to do this. Okay, so you go for the riskless gank, then you get the blue. Okay, you get this. And here your R is back in 30 seconds. So tell me, what do you do for the next 35 seconds?
You still farm until you try to aim for the next gank with R, with your R for
Yeah,
about 30
so
seconds.
here your team is behind. So on top of this, you really, really don't want to farm, to gank, sorry, or to fight.
Uh,
So
uh,
here, I see enemy bot lane is invading my bot side. I would be scared. I would really be scared. I would be like, probably we don't want to do this. The only good thing is that Renekton decided to
uh,
move. And Sets doesn't have TP. You probably don't have the info on this, but whatever. But here, um, the fact that Renekton is here, maybe that's enough to do this. So in this particular context, you can decide to go bot lane, but that's really only because of Renekton numerical advantage, because you can have a 5v4 in your jungle.
yeah.
But that's a really rare example. In most cases, this won't happen. But in this particular context, okay, your Renekton goes, so you can go as well.
But the reason I didn't follow is because my ult wasn't really up by the time that I got there, so that's why I was hesitant.
Not really. Here, what I said during the live review of your game is like,
Uh,
oh, but like your top lane, you don't really want to move bot lane. Like you don't want to travel half of the map for 2 camps.
okay.
You don't care about this. So the thing is, uh, here on a team's perspective, you would be like, okay, we can catch these guys trying to get my camps. But on, to be honest, it doesn't matter whether or not they get your camps.
Yeah.
Here, what I would like to do, if I were you, is to get Warwick Wolves, get the Scuttle, get both top camps,
Mm,
base, and then I'm back on the map with my R. I don't want to travel half of the map to this, because I will lose a ton of CSN XP by doing
yeah.
this. And like it won't, even if they get my camp, I don't care about this. Why? Because in 35 seconds, I mean, I don't know what your IRCD is right now. In 50 seconds, I don't have the time to do walls, scuttle, both top games, and both bot games. So I don't care whether or not I lose these games. This is not XP I'm losing. It would be XP I'm losing if I planned to get a full clear, but I'm not gonna do this at 14 minutes. I'm probably gonna do half a clear, then a base, then go back on the map, do something, do a gank, and then even if the games were done, I would have something else to do. I would have another part of my jungle to take because
Yeah.
enough time has elapsed. It's not like early game where a camp loss is horrible because you don't have anything else to do anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're so weak, so you're just farming. So in this particular case, I think it's a bit hard to tell. A bit hard to tell.
Yeah, I was gonna ignore it, but then I saw my entire team was fighting, so I was like, okay, I probably need to do
Yeah,
this.
it's basically team versus individual. If you're
Yeah.
playing for your team, you go for this because you're afraid that your team starts a fight and you're not here, etc., etc. But as an individual, you really don't want to participate in this. So here, you have to understand that you are sacrificing yourself for your team. Like you
Yeah.
can do this, but you really have to be conscious that you're sacrificing yourself for your team.
Yeah.
This is not a fight you would like to do, and you're only doing this because you need to be here in case a big fight happens. This is the only reason. Here in this case, like you lose a lot of time because you were too far anyway. So in the live review, I was like, but like by the time you arrive here, the move is already done. That was kind of true. Also, yeah, this is a great dive because you have your ult. Like you really like. I mean, in this case, to be honest, even without your ult, it's a free dive in this particular case because this guy is alone. But here, even with more people, even if there was Kaisa as well, you would be looking for this. It's the timing in the game where you're the strongest. You have your flash. I mean, you could have it if you wait a bit more. So even if there is Kaisa, you hard go for this. Okay, then you don't have your R. You have a full jungle up. So here, what would you do?
Yeah, go back to farming.
Yeah, you go back to farming. You can like be around the right place. So here, um, when is Drake spawning? Drake is spawning in 2 minutes. So here, to be honest, I would be like, okay, I probably don't want to contest this. You can still be around in case your team wants to contest this, and it's a good idea. So here, it really depends on, like here I see Kaisa is bot lane, your whole team is moving. Okay, maybe you can contest this, but same thing, you don't want to commit. Here you're mostly focusing on farming, so you're going top lane because you need to be top right now in case something happens.
Yeah.
But you're focusing on farming. You don't go deep. You don't go for risky things, and you fight this only if you are sure that because of something else you have an advantage. So here it's Kaisa bot lane. Your ADC is here first. It's a 5v4. Okay, I agree. So wait. Okay, you're Renekton TP'd. So you get this. But like, do you want to fight here? Like your ADC is not here. It's deep. Here I would be like, yeah, I just want to get this because you're not really, you don't have ult, so you're not really strong here in this
Yeah.
context. And oh, you don't have vision on anything. So here there could be Lissandra, there could be Tamkinch. You want to ward around your vision. So this is more a micro thing. Here, you'd like to ward in your vision. You have no vision here, so if you fight towards here, you're not going to be surprised by any Tamkinch or Lissandra thing. So I would say in this case, like this is a line you don't want to cross. This is the vision line you don't want to cross. So if there is a fight here, it's good for you. But you don't want to chase here and to fight here. Same thing, you don't want to chase here and to fight here. Because you don't have info. You can get Cold Blast by Tamkinch Lissandra. Okay, now you're 5, you can do whatever you want. Okay, you killed him, you get hurled. And now you're going to have your ult, I think you have it already. So here, same thing, you have Darkseal stacks as well. As soon as there is an opportunity available, right now there is nobody on the map. There's Drake in 40 seconds. Here you could base, here I would base to buy my item before Drake. You buy the boots. So your flash or your R will have less CD. The problem, like you could do this, but you're going to be slightly late for Drake. Yeah, see? It's better to base rather than get an additional camp, I think.
Okay.
Because the game is still close. So the lucidity boots are going to make a difference. Really. More damage, less CD on your spells. Okay, so here we have kinda team mistake. But it's also your mistake. So here your ADC should never be alone taking the prio. Normally the support would be with her. But if the support is not with her, you need to be with her. She can't be alone like that. Never. Because it's an easy target. So I would say here it's obvious that both teams are going to try and contest the Drake, right? Like look at the Warwick position. It's obvious. They try to contest this. So if you know they try to contest this, then it doesn't matter whether or not you're seen, right? It's going to be a big fight no matter what. So you can show
Mm,
yourself. It's not going to be a surprise. The enemy team is expecting to get a big fight for the Drake. You can show mid, protect your ADC. You get the vision. I don't know if you have pink. Okay, you don't have pink, but you can just be a human ward. You know, be here. Just check. Uh, face check the bush first.
is it one question? Is it still worth protecting an ADC if she's doing like, let's say she's 0-10? Is it still worth?
I mean, if she's literally non-factor, uh,
Uh,
the problem is that even if they're 0-10, um, here you're not looking to protect her. You're not looking to play around her. You're just
uh,
preventing the catch on her,
okay.
right? And it doesn't matter if it's 0-10 or not. It really matters just if they are playing the game.
Yeah.
So unless I don't know, unless he's hinting on purpose and like it's an Ezreal that's going to E out in the fog like that just because he wants to do die.
Yeah.
As long as he's playing the game normally, you're just here. It's really about the number. Like if you look at the stuff between Caitlyn and Kai'Sa, like your ADC is almost as much as a factor than enemy Kai'Sa.
Mm,
So she will do something, and even if she's 0 and 10, the fact that the enemy have to flash on her, use spells on her, is going to play a big role in a fight,
yeah.
right? So you don't want her to die for free, because this is really her dying for free. I'm not saying go sacrifice for ADC or like play around your ADC in fights. I'm really saying here just accompany your ADC to get the prio, because this is
Mm,
the the best moment for the enemy team to engage a fight on her. So you're just preventing the catch. Also, I dislike um I don't know,
in
I
my
dislike
defense,
starting with E. In this case, if you
yeah.
have your flash, okay, you don't have your flash. Never mind then. Never mind. When you have your
In my
flash, I
defense,
really like to start with Q.
I do also want to ask, just this is just a micro question.
Yeah.
Usually when I'm playing in higher tier, I don't even engage like this. I wait for someone to engage onto me. Do you think that's better, or do you think sometimes it's good to
Yeah,
engage?
it's really good. Usually when people engage on the Zac player, especially if you have passive,
Yeah.
it's always a win for your team. And this is how you bait enemy, and this is why I dislike when you play in the fog before an objective. Also, because you should play to give your team some space. Here,
Uh,
you should. The problem is here, Caitlyn, if she's a good ADC, she should not even do this. Because here,
yeah.
listen, right here, she just WR, this guy is dead, right?
Yeah.
So she should not do this if he's a good ADC. But no matter
Mm,
what, whether he's good or bad, here you should be on the wave, get the wave, be a human ward, check the surroundings, face
mm,
check everything, put a pink here, be a human ward here just to check. And if the thing is, if enemy team goes on you, it's really good for your team, as you said,
mm.
because if they engage on the Zac player, you're always going to win the fight, unless you're super behind already, or if it's an even-ish fight, it's always good for the Zac player to get engaged on. So that's why
Okay.
instead of playing from behind and playing from from fog, you should really impose yourself, get your team some space, and bait the enemy as well in the process. Of course, this
Wait.
only applies if your team can follow. Like if here you're standing here when your ADC is focusing the wave,
Mm,
it's not going to be a good setup, right? You need to be
mm.
aware of the fact that your team can or cannot follow in really the instant.
Well, what I more so meant is that, let's say Warwick, what he wants to do is ult on someone. What I would have usually done is wait until he ults on someone and then use E. Do you
Yeah,
think that's a good approach, or do you think
I
it's
think it's a
better
good
to? Yeah.
approach, but just overall, I would say here I would just walk towards the Warwick,
Okay.
just because. like he can't do much to you, right? I mean, worst case scenario, he's going to auto queue you. What are you gonna do about it? And like you want to know where are the enemies here. You really want to get a vision on this. So
Yeah.
you don't risk anything as the Zac player here. Really, here the Kate finished to take the wave. I don't know what the
Yeah.
Rakan is doing to be honest, but like your team is here. So if you walk in, it's really a timing where you don't fear anything. You have to be fearless.
Okay.
And yeah, I wouldn't use E like that, just because um first off, you're not going to connect. Second, it's a Warwick. Third, you don't want to commit without vision. So that's why you use the walking technique instead. You just walk, check, get info, bait the enemy, and you still have your E to for E out or proc aftershock, CC the enemy, etc. Here, you're almost going to lose the 4v3, but that's really because of micro.
Yeah.
Here on a macro level, um, it would be a good fight. It's an even fight, but you have mid prio, you have Renekton splitting. I think it's good. Okay. Um, so then I have like two more things to show. The first is like 20 minutes. Um, Here it's a Nash setup. How do you set up Nash when you're slightly ahead like this? You don't straight up rush to Nash, putting a Herald bot thinking it's going to bait someone when your ADC is
Yeah.
splitting. So here,
Okay.
the thing is, your ADC is really like, it's a factor in the game. You,
Uh-huh.
um, they are 2 and 7, but they are really a factor because they are going to bait all their spells. Like, look at Lissandra earlier. What did she do? She used all her spells, including ultimate on her,
Yeah.
to kill her. Like that's really big. It's not like she's literally running down and dying on purpose, like she's playing the game normally. I mean, here she shouldn't be splitting, but here the problem is um you have zero info on the enemy. You take 1,000 years to get Nash.
Mm.
Um, and also, if the enemy team comes and cancel your Nash, it's a really tough situation to be in for you.
Okay.
So here, before starting Nash, I would wait that at least two people are collapsing this guy, two people without TP. So
Okay.
then you would be looking for a fight. But on top of this, you need to get the mid prio. So here the problem is, it's going to be neutral mid. Your ADC is bathing, so on top of this, your ADC is not going to apply any pressure here.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going to get collapsed by two people. Here, um, you have zero info. There could be 5 enemy players here going for you when your ADC is base.
Mm-hmm.
So here what I would do instead is get more deep vision. So here instead of buying 2 cloth armor, you should buy at least a pink if you
Okay.
think that you're going to get Nash. And you were thinking from base that you would go for Nash. And here you
Yeah.
would put your ping here or here if there is no word. You need to get deeper vision. Because with this, you're never going to be able to start Nash safely with this vision. Also, an additional way to get vision is to just get prio. Get prio, the wave is giving you vision and info on enemy champions, and then you can do the human ward deeper, put a ping here, something. If you don't have ward, if here you're in this setup where you don't have ward, you just wait for the next wave, wait for info. You push the next wave, enemy team is eventually going to show, and you're probably looking to fight first and then get Nash. Same thing than earlier. Why would you ever get Nash? Well, in
Yeah.
this case is if enemy team is too passive, play against their turrets, and you want to provoke a fight, you want to bait them to Nash, to get the Nash. Because you know that they don't want to fight anyway, they are playing too passive.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the same exact principle than early when I would say, yeah, you don't want to do the Drake unless it's going to bait the enemies. You want to first kill the enemy, then do the Drake. Here it's really the exact same thing. Especially in lower elo, people will never retain themselves from fighting. They will always be okay for a fight. Almost always. So you will never need to bait them with this setup. The only thing this setup achieves is a sneak Nash if you're behind. But in this case, you're not behind. You're looking for fights. You're winning the fights. So why would you go for a cheese thing that you do when you come back a game, when you can just wait for the next wave and jump on anyone and win because you're just ahead,
Yeah.
right? So here, multiple things. First, to set up a Nash, you need more vision, deeper mid prio, and probably a catch. You can't start a Nash rawly like that. You need a catch. Second, in lower elo especially, you're always looking for kill first, then the objective. Like here, you can't sell the Nash, and like, it's obvious they are going to fight. It's obvious. They are never going to, like here, this guy is already too far. You see that this guy is bot lane without TP? You can just jump and start a fight. You will win. You're too ahead. You know? The only person that is not here is your ADC, and as you said, it's the least interesting member of your team. Like you can really fight them here, but you
Yeah.
don't need to start the fight, start losing HP, because enemy team doesn't need to be baited because they are baited by default. Like here, look at how they are willing to fight. Did you really need to start this Nash? To be
No.
honest, you would have just need to push this wave and like just enter their jungle by walking, and this would be enough already. You didn't need to do this. You could have just, you know, move as 4 in their jungle and wait in this bush, for example.
The fight would have happened while deep warding.
Yeah, that's why deep warding is easy when you're ahead, because either they are here and it's a free fight because you're ahead, or they are not here and then you get the ward.
Yeah.
Okay, this only achieves that you lose HP on Nash and you're in a bad setup, right? Also, the fact that you have the river, um, the advantage of having the river vision here is that the enemy will not be able to cross this path. So usually, Rakan is doing a pretty bad job here. He should ward this and this. But usually, when you have this and this worded, what happens? Well, here, you would know. Here you would have vision on this guy. You would have vision on Warwick with this word and this word. These are the really good words you want to have, the yellow words. You would have info on Kaisa as well. Here you would have info on everyone. And what do you do in this case? You don't allow them to cross this point because this is a choke point. This is
Yeah.
perfect for fighting. This is perfect for fighting because the enemy doesn't have vision. So if you're standing here and you have a ward here, you just E from here to here and there is no counterplay. Same thing here. You just catch them because no counterplay. They can't cross this point. It's too dangerous because they don't have the vision on this. And you do. That's why having the control of the river for the objective is really nice because this is where you're going to fight. Here, and in your case, I'm gonna not cheat with your vision. But here you don't want Warwick to be here. So here Warwick crosses this point. You look for a fight on Warwick. Same thing when you see Tamkinch entering the bush, Kaisa entering the bush. You're looking for a fight on Kaisa because they can't enter. They can cross this point. It's a really good fight for you.
Yeah.
Okay, now you are 5 against 4 people. So yeah, you're finally going to do it. But here you could have done this way earlier, right?
Yeah.
Because you didn't even need your ADC, and in this case, your ADC is even, you know, you didn't need it basically. The only thing you needed is to know that enemy team is not 5, to not provoke a 5v4. Okay, so you know that set is bot lane, really good, and you do this. Okay, so now you find yourself with a Nash buff. How do you know? How do you use a Nash buff optimally?
Uh, you split.
Yeah, you play on lanes in general. at least, ideally, at least 2 lanes.
Okay.
It's fine to not play on 3 lanes, but at least 2 lanes. So the good thing to do is to choose one side and play on this side. It's not your choice, it's a team choice. So you just see what happens,
Mm.
and you choose the same side. And if the 3 sides are played, okay, very well. Now there is another thing. How to use a buff properly. So yeah, you need to play on the lanes because this is where you buff your minions. So if you play on lanes and a fight happens on lane, you get to push more towers because you have your wave.
Yeah.
If you just play on lane and a fight doesn't happen, well, you're chipping the enemy turrets wave by wave. If you're playing in the jungle, there's not this chipping the turret. The chip on turret is not happening. And if you win a fight, you're not going to get as many turrets as you would if you win a fight on lane. So for all
Mm.
these reasons, better to play on lane than jungle. Then something else is really important. The Nashor buff is only 3 minutes. So that means you need to optimize the duration of this. So what does this mean? That means you ideally you want to have a synchronized back with your team. So when you have Nash buff, you need to try your best to never be the last one to back. Because the last one to base is going to be the limiting factor. He's going to be the one that's preventing your team from playing. So here, Renekton is the last one backing. Never mind, it's Kassadin. And yeah, it doesn't look like this guy is backing. So that means the last person to back was Kassadin. So if you wanted to back, it should have been right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to back, but you have like 1k gold. So it depends on whether you want to back or not. To be honest, I think it's fine if you decide to keep clearing. I think it's fine. I think I would have thought the same because 1k gold is not much. So keep clearing, it's okay. But if you would have backed, it would have had to be on the same timing than this guy because of synchronization. If you're
Mm.
any later, you are the one making the mistake of losing Nash tempo. And the same thing happens for everything. It's not only Nashor. It's at any point in late game. So here we're getting into the late game. When your team, when there is a teammate that died, or where there is a teammate that's backing, you want to back before the last one, or like at least at the same time than the last one. So if you see, oh, your whole team is respawning, 30 seconds on Kate, 10 seconds on Kassadin, and you need to base, you're on the enemy side of the map, you need to cast your base to respawn at the same time than Caitlyn.
Yeah.
It's going to happen later in the game, so I will show you. So here, in this case, you don't need to back, okay? You play on lanes. In this case, it looks like it's going to be on 2 lanes. So top lane and mid lane. Looks like. So you're pinging it. You're pinging the bot lane, the mid lane turrets. Okay. And now, something else that's really important. So I don't think I would do this just because no vision.
Yeah.
At least if you really want to get a camp, leash it towards here, so you can see if someone is arriving, right? Because this is a bit risky for no reason. Okay, so you kill this guy, and then there's this flash. Okay, so now, tell me, if you wait, if you just play passively and wait, um, which team is going to be advantaged by this?
It's because we have the Baron buff.
Yes. So that means if you play it slow right now, your team is going to be advantaged. So there are multiple reasons why this could happen. If there is a team member that is dead and that comes back on the map, and you're currently in numerical disadvantage, well, the longer you wait, sorry, the better, because you will have an additional team member. Okay, that's a thing. Other thing could be a flash. This guy has flash in 18 seconds. It's a factor. Ultimates, the more important. So you look at the ultimate of Rakan, your ultimate, and ultimates of the enemy. If ultimate come back in 30 seconds, that means in 30 seconds you're stronger. Okay, and the same thing applies for the enemy. So here, if we're um, if we're the enemy, okay, Set responds in 28 seconds. So in 28 seconds they are stronger. Okay, but also they all have their ult already, which you should know because you only fought the Set. Okay, so they all have their ult and we don't have our ult, our Rakan and Zac ult. So in this case, I would argue that even if sets respawn in 28 seconds, it's still better for your team because you will have your ults. So you will hard win the 5v5. And as you said it, on top of this, you have the Nash buff. So that means that slowly you will chip the turrets. And eventually, Renekton is going to win his 1v1 on side. Or maybe they are going to send 2 people on the Renekton side. And then you get the turrets push. Right?
Yeah.
But the important part here is to understand that when you're the team that benefits from the time that passes, you should play it slow. And yeah, another factor could be there is a split pusher. So let's say we're fighting for Drake. The first team has 5 people, the second team has 4 people, and or let's say both teams have 4 people fighting for the Drake, okay? And both teams has a split pusher. And let's say that the red team has the winning split pusher. So the red team split pusher is going to explode the blue team split pusher. Okay?
Yeah.
Then which team is advantages by the time that passes?
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
Red team has a split pusher that wins against blue team.
That wins against blue team. Then us.
Yeah. So basically, in this case, the red team that's fighting for Drake would be advantaged to take things as slow as possible because they know that they are gaining from this.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't try to rush. They would try to make the fight last as long as possible. Okay, so here the same principle applies. Not only you need to play it slow, but playing it slow also means you need to play it picky. So like, you're not going to go whenever you want here. Because you know that you're getting, like here in 25 seconds, you're going to be way stronger. So here this go-in happens at a timing where you don't have your ult yet and Set is almost about to spawn. Here, if you just waited a couple more waves, you would have chipped the tower eventually, and there is something that would have happened. Since it's low elo, a fight would happen that's not under their turret. Like, enemy team would have fought here. I'm 100% sure this would have happened. You don't need to force this. Okay, so this is something that a Zac player would have done if they think that they need to go in right now because they are going to be weaker. So let's say you would have done this because you like maybe 3 people in the enemy team are respawning soon and you want to have the 5v2 dive as quickly as possible. That could be a reason. But in this particular case, I mean, I guess Set is dead. But your R and Rakan are more valuable by this than this. And the Nash buff, chipping the turrets slowly, is also more valuable. Okay. So then 25-45. This is the last thing we're going to see.
Okay. Learning a lot.
So here, at this timing, you have a ton of things to... Yeah, you have your item, basically. You have your gargoyle. So here, what do? You want to synchronize your base with the last one of your team, and TP doesn't count. So here, Kassadin, he has TP. That doesn't count, because if you're basing, doesn't count because if Kathleen has TP, he can use it, so you're going to be the last one. Basically, you never want to be the one that's
That's the
that is
last
going to
one.
make your team wait.
Yeah.
So here in this situation, Kassadin 27 seconds. Yeah, basically you should have backed. I guess maybe I mean it's fine if you back at the same time than Kassadin, but you should have backed after Drake, I guess. Not jumping at this. Because here Kassadin responding in 15 seconds. Well, you just base, you come back on the map, and then Kassadin can TP in theory, and you're not going to be the element which will make your team wait. So yeah, that would have been the timing. Synchronize your bases. Okay, that's about it for me.
Awesome. All right. I appreciate the coaching session, man.
Yeah, I mean it was slightly bit longer than usual, but no, it's fine.
Nah, I think everybody that's watching is gonna learn a lot if they're serious about climbing. So
Yeah, well, I will write a summary of the session like I did the last time. Yeah, you will have it like tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sounds good.
If you have any question, you can also DM me. And if you want, you can do a feedback of your coaching, like maybe in a few weeks. There is a feedback channel in my Discord. So if you want to, not of course you do whatever you want, but it can help. Anyway, it was great. Thank you for this one. Thank you for the trust.
No problem. Hopefully soon I'm gonna be challenger too. So.
Yeah, I wish you good luck on this.
Appreciate it.
Oh, you already wrote the stuff. Okay. Well, I will complete it with anything I think is great. Yeah. Okay. Have a good one.
You too. Peace.
Okay, guys. I'm so tired. My voice is gone. Thank you guys for watching. I'm probably not going to last very long before sleeping.